Thank you all for being here. I'm Michael Walter. I'm the owners of the Chicago Sky. And on behalf of John Rogers, my primary partner here, I want to thank you all for being here. Appreciate your coming. I know you didn't come to hear me speak, so I'm going to be real brief here. But John and I are thrilled to introduce our new head coach and general manager, James Wade, the gentleman sitting here to my left. I just want to say that in going through this process, we are thrilled to have James here. And what really stood out for us as we went through and talking to coaches, players in the league is just how phenomenal he is with his relationships with players and in helping to develop them and really bring the best out of them. And so that's really what stood out for us. And we have a very young, incredibly talented team led by our no longer rookie over to our left here, Diamond DeShields. So we're very excited about what we have to build on, and now we have our leader in place to lead us to our goal, which is a WNBA Championship. So with that, no pressure there. I'm going to let James say hello.
All right. Hello, everybody. I'm sure this is a surprise for everybody. Seeing all the media stuff going on last week, and it's hard not to come in on a lot of stuff. But I just want to start off by thanking the organization. I really appreciate. I'm very grateful for the opportunity that you've allowed me to express my leadership. So it's something that I won't let you guys down, and I'm looking forward to that championship too. But with that being said, I just want to I'd like to thank some people for helping me along this journey. First, I have my parents here that have really been. I don't want to make this out of a victory speech, but I honestly, you have to celebrate these small victories along the way. And my mother, she's really been a rock for me and my siblings. So I just want to tell her how much I appreciate her, and I don't, take you for granted, even though I didn't listen when I was younger. But I really appreciate you, and Thomas, I appreciate you as well for being that father figure to me and helping me along the way. I'd like to also thank some people that aren't here and that have helped me, coaches that have helped me along the way, Cheryl Reeve and Dan Hughes. It's been such a honor and a privilege to work under two championship coaches and two coaches that have allowed me to express myself and to grow. And it's something that I don't take for granted. It's going to be just an honor just to be on the sideline opposite of them, coaching against them. It's something that I look forward to. I want to say thank you, and how much I appreciate them. I know they know, but just getting it out there for you guys to see is something that it's not lost with me. And it's a part of who I am. The players in the league as well, from Minnesota to San Antonio, great players want to be coached. And I've had the opportunity to coach some great players, and I've had the opportunity to grow with those great players. So, with that being said, I'm not, I don't want to leave anyone out, so it's a lot of people that have been a part of this process as well, in the WNBA and out the WNBA, and I just want to say thank you to everybody, and I'll try to make everybody proud. So there you have it.
Open up the question. Cheryl Reeve, WNBA Radio. What is your style? What do you expect you to be on the sideline with the girls, and how are you going to instruct them?
I guess I'm a coach that I hold players accountable, but I'm a relatable coach. I understand what players go through. I understand what they need to get them going, what motivates them, and I try to use that to the best of my ability. The one thing that I said before, great players want to be coached, but they also want to be guided in the right way. So I just try to use those things to my advantage, and that's always been my style. I know it's a trust give and take both ways. So I try to work on that every day in practice, building trust and trusting in them. And we just had a conversation earlier. Everybody that plays basketball, especially at the level that they play, they've had a ball in their hand for a long time. And it's fun for them. And it's something that, they love. And so I try to give them a safe haven to express themselves and, express their love for the game. And so that's all I want to do.
Weiss from the WNBA Championship.
Hey, Brooke, I remember you. I'm going to have some nice shoes for you. All right.
With having won 3 championships in 8 months with the Lynx, your EuroLeague, Russian Championship, what are some of those elements that you can bring and insert immediately into this team to get them into that championship mindset?
Well, a lot of credibility. We talked about the trust aspect. I can, if I say, look, this is what it takes to win. I know what it takes to win. If I give them a blueprint and say these are the things we need to win. I'm sure players they love that. They love coaches with credibility because they don't have to wonder and guess, does this guy know what he's talking about? They know it right away. I just take what I've learned in these last 2.5 years. Longer than that, but just having the stamp of winning on it. I take that and I give it to them, and you lay out a blueprint and you say, hey, these are the important keys to winning championships, and this is what we need to do, and hopefully this is what we'll do. All right, good, great.
General manager
Yeah.
what are the tasks that you have to do in order to be prepared for the draft for the next season?
Well, it's a lot of studying. You have to be a forward thinker. You just can't think of immediate impact, like, okay, I need this player, this player, this player, this player. You really have to think years down the line. Like we have young players, like we have Diamond, who we hope to have, for 20 years or as long as she wants to play. So you have to try to build around that. And you have to get players that's going to complement her and complement the other players that, and so it's a lot of multitasking, but it's a lot of forward thinking, and you can't just think 1 year ahead of time, I think me and the head coach will have a lot of great discussions about it. Yeah.
How important is that to you, especially for this organization?
I think it's important. For example, I think scouting against Chicago, you can recognize, for example, Courtney Vandersloot, who just in the past, I'm talking about in the past, I think for the last 2 years she's been the best point guard in the league. Okay, she hasn't been voted to an All-Star game yet. I think her being a part of the face of the league is, I think it's time now. So I think that's important to growing the brand of Chicago Sky, and it's important of growing the brand of the league. So I know it's important of getting our face out there, of getting our personalities out there, because everybody's different. So for me, it's really important that we do that. So I'm very big on putting the WNBA on a pedestal and putting the players on a pedestal too. So I look forward to it.
Phil Thompson, Tribune.
I feel.
Thanks. Welcome.
Thank you.
How do you plan to address certain aspects of need for the team, such as the leading turnovers and opponent field goal percentage?
Yeah, I appreciate that reminder. Okay, so all right, I want to say we, but I wasn't turning the ball over last year, so I'm going to say, but for the purposes, I'm going to say we. We led the league with 15 turnovers a game. And what else did you say? I'm sorry.
Opponent
Point of field goal percentage was what, around 46%, all right, 46%. So that led the league too from the bottom. I think it has to be a point of emphasis. You know, when you go into free agency, you go into, you know, needs, building your staff, things you need to identify and saying, okay, we have these factors that we have to improve on to be a championship team. We compare ourselves with championship teams of the past. This is the bar that they were at. For example, Seattle, who won the championship last year, they shot 43% from the field. Defensively, 43% from the field. We were at 46, Chicago. We have to at least be at 43 next year. Points in the paint. We led the league 39 points, giving up 39 points per game in the paint. Have to trim that down by 9. So you go into with an identity of, okay, we have to accomplish these things. Now it's about how we're going to do it, and that's the part that we have to figure out. I mean, I know what it takes to get done, but, you know, we have to find out how we can do that with this roster and with the staff going forward.
If I can follow up, you know, a lot of teams obviously want to create a winning culture.
Right.
You come from an organization that is known for that. What are the nuances and intangibles that you've seen that creates a winning culture?
Well, I think you have to have willing players. And from the discussions that I've had, I think that's, you know, we have that here. The next thing is you have to have non-negotiables. So it's things that you know you don't bend. And I know as a coach sometimes you have so many things to take care of, and so some things you might let slide. Some things you say, okay, you attack it when it's too late. If you come in the door and say, okay, we're not going to allow this, and this, then you see the improvement right away. And that's something that you have to be disciplined. That's something you have to be disciplined as a coach, to say, okay, I'm very disciplined in this. I'm not going to, if I see a minute problem in this, okay, we didn't get that defensive rebound in this drill, on to the next drill. You have to have non-negotiables, and I think that's where it starts.
Do you have any meetings with players, like one-on-one, between now and the end of the season, or who you do the draft? I know a lot more overseas, but how will you approach that?
Well, I have talked to players. I reached out to, you know, mostly everybody on our roster. Is maybe one or two players I haven't talked to. One player I haven't talked to, I think. And, yeah, periodically I'll reach out to players. I'll see players. Yeah, that's something, like Michael said, that's been a strong point of mine, is always having relationships with players, good relationships with players. I guess it's because I'm really cool or something. I don't know, but that's something that I'll continue to build on.
What do you want them to do between now and when you actually see them?
Well, I want them to get better. That's the thing. You know, during the off season, it's very interesting, unique how we're set up, that they can actually go away and get better, and they spend as much time out of season as they do in season. But they you know, they have opportunities with their respective clubs to, you know, continue to build on their professionalism and continue to get better as a basketball player. So I want them to get better, and you know, we'll have ongoing discussions about that.
Mention a bit about the brands, like getting Courtney Vandersloot out, making sure that she's an all-star next year. You've got Sloot, Beth Diamond, who's one of the huge stars, breakouts in the WNBA, Stephanie Dolson. This may be also a question for you too, Michael, just about getting more exposure within the city of Chicago and the suburbs, so that you're filling up those seats. And you've got such a beautiful arena, new logo, new just fresh life. So maybe this is more of a marketing question, but what is that plan, and what things have been discussed to get the city really excited about next summer?
I mean, I guess I'll let Michael answer, I guess.
Okay. So, I mean, you know, it's an ongoing challenge for us. Number one, because we're a women's league, and for reasons we don't need to spend too much time going into, women just don't get the type of coverage without a battle. So we battle all the time. So, with a number of things, obviously behind me is our new logo. So we've taken advantage of the opportunity of the changes happening, being back in the city, and having a new coach and a new exciting team to rebrand the team, the look, the feel, all that type of thing. So that will translate down, with the uniforms and everything else that we're doing. Having all of you here today obviously is a very important part of it. The media is really important. In Chicago it's tough because there's a lot of other sports teams and there's a lot of other entertainment that we compete with. So, what we focused on is getting an exciting product, which we think we have, and with incredible individuals. Diamond's a perfect example of that. We're really interested. So we are doing a lot more to get our story out. So we have been, but we will continue and to improve on even more so a very active and very aggressive social media campaign, and you'll be seeing a lot more content in terms of telling stories of our players, and we really want to do as much as we can to let our fans and the world know about them as people and their personalities, because they are really incredible people. So, it's a lot of things that we're doing, and we are seeing the success. I mean, we've had our the best attendance we've had last year at Wintrust, and moving down the city was also kind of part of that. We really felt that we had a good situation all state, and the folks in Rosemont were great, but we really felt we needed to be part of Chicago in the city of Chicago, and integrate ourselves more into what's happening here. So that's been a big priority. So all these things are collectively together are incrementally moving us forward. We're pushing it as much as we can, and winning's going to also be part of that too. And so that is another piece of the strategy.
Just to follow up on that, does that also include getting players out to local events? And do they live in the city, or do they?
So, again, this is one of the challenges we have, as James alluded to before. Our players are only here during the season. They're not here in the off-season because they're playing abroad, so we don't have the benefit of their in-presence. And during the season, our players are unbelievable in terms of the amount of appearances and events that they do, given the fact that they're also playing a very condensed season. This last year was particularly difficult because the season was even shorter because of the World Championship, so it made it even more challenging, and there's only so much we can put on our players to do. So we want to get the players out as much as we can, because they're just phenomenal people, and the more interaction they have in the community, the better for the league, because they make that connection. So we do it as much as we can without, again, taking away from the basketball side, and the fact that that is their number one priority. So again, it's a balancing act that we were constantly fighting with, and trying to get working on a league level and how we can do things to make it easier for players to be around and not have to play overseas. That's a longer term challenge that we have that we're working on as well.
Can I ask a follow-up to the follow-up? This is for John Rogers. John, you're probably more involved than anybody I know in the inner city community. The team has moved now into Chicago. Using your power and your influence, will you do more to try to get the youngsters in the inner city of Chicago involved in coming to Sky games?
Well, the Sky does an enormous amount already. There's a real big community effort that's been consistent that Michael has led, and Washington has been a big part of, and other leaders within the organization. So it's something that's been part and parcel. What we've tried to do is enhance that, and as Michael said, the players have been terrific with that, showing up wherever you can bring kids together from the inner city. I know we've actually, just watched that consistently, and the players come and spend several hours with the young people, sit down and talk to them about their lives and their careers, and inspire the younger people. So I think it's something we are doing well, and I think we can continue to do it. And what's really helpful is we've been going out on the road and talking to sponsors throughout. Now that we're back home in Chicago, we've been sitting down with some of the major businesses in Chicago. We had several new sponsors last year that were very prominent. Part of the money that they're giving and working with us on is to enhance the relationship with the community. Most of the major sponsors believe that community connection is really, really important. So it's kind of nice to have the sponsors be aligned with the values and interests of the Sky and what we're all about.
Very quickly, if you could touch on defensive philosophies. If you could talk about some of the skill sets that she's planning to tap in with Diamond and Gabby and some of the other.
I want to run offensively. I think that we have maybe one of the best athletes that the league has seen in Diamond. I want her to be a playmaker. I want her to have the ball in her hands. But we also have other playmakers too, and I want to use them. I like quick offenses. But with that being said, the offense was pretty good. 83 points a game last year, and that's with taking the ball out of bounds every time on defense. So if we can get stops and rebound out of those stops, I think you'll see an improvement in our offense. So a lot of it is going to be built on just aggressive play, staying in front of the ball and being hard to play against and rebounding out of that. So I don't want to give you a scouting report because of all the cameras, but that's what we'll do. Yeah.
Coach, we talked about some of the negative.
What's your name, man?
Oh, I'm Charlie Elias.
How you doing, Charlie?
Good. How are you?
All right.
You talked about some of the negatives from last year,
Mhm.
but I want to address some of the positives. You
Right.
guys led the league in assists. And
Right.
were top 5 in field goal percentage.
Mhm.
That was with 2 rookie starters. Next year, you guys got experience out of returning starters. What do you expect from second-year players and girls like Courtney, who you said you want to brand better and make her more of a brand for the Chicago Sky?
Well, I mean, we led the league in assists, which was good, and we saw that because in Minnesota they played us really well every time we played them, and I just want them to take a step forward. It's all about progression, and I'm going to hold them accountable and try to make them the best players that they can be. And a part of that is not putting limits on them, because I don't want them to put limits on themselves. And I think when you do that, when you don't put limits on yourself, you end up, in a place like this between Michael and John. And so I'm a prime example of that, and I'm going to try to put that energy in the air and put it on them because I've been watching Diamond since she was 16, 17 years old, and I'm not going to say anything. I feel pretty lucky,